Hello and welcome to the Film Ireland podcast, where we celebrate filmmaking, storytelling and cinema across the island of Ireland. In today's episode, we're delighted to partner with the National Talent Academy for VFX, an initiative supported by Fís Éireann, Screen Ireland. And this podcast was recorded on location at the Spinners Mill studio during RENDR Festival, which is a vibrant gathering for creatives featuring local and international speakers from across film, gaming, animation and immersive technologies. In this episode, we're really delighted to welcome Camille Balsamo-Gillis. She's an actor, producer and co-founder of the practical VFX production company Pro Machina, who've worked on the Fantastic Four: First Steps and Alien Romulus. So thank you so much for chatting with us on day 2 of RENDR.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Do you work in Ireland at all?
I have not. This is my first time in Ireland. It's my first time sort of witnessing the Irish production and film industry and entertainment industry up close and personal. But I love it. I love what I'm seeing, and I hope I get the opportunity to come back and work. I would love that.
Yeah, we need more sci-fis. We always need more sci-fis. I suppose we had Foundation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so Ian Hunter, who is our partner on the miniature side of our company, he did the first season of Foundation. He supervised the miniatures, and he's a hard to impress, and he was very impressed by all of the talent that he got to work with on that, both in the miniature department and overall. So he speaks really highly of his time shooting here, and so now I'm really want to get back and come work here.
Fabulous. That was great. I hadn't actually twigged that in my notes. So yeah, that's fabulous. Tell me about the great work that Pro Machina does.
Yes, we are a practical effects production company. So that's sort of a title that I've made up. But I think it encapsulates both sort of branches of what we do. One being practical effects, specifically we do miniatures for films and television and commercials. And it also, I think, reflects the fact that we make our own independent features in-house that heavily that celebrate practical effects and utilize practical effects to tell stories.
And you've worked on some incredible films and done such brilliant work. What is the most fun stuff to make?
Well, thank you. First of all, I find it to be extra rewarding to make our own content, our own material that is meaningful to us, that we've developed and put lots of time and effort into making because it means something to us, or because it's a story that we want to share with more people. And that's fun also because I get to be so involved in every step of the process of filmmaking. And so I love that. There's nothing I like more than that. And also it's a little bit of a family business. So I'm working with my dad and my husband and my sisters. And it's just pretty much a dream come true when we get to do that. On the miniature side, it's such a delight to get to work with either the director or the visual effects supervisor who is really excited and passionate about the opportunity to use miniatures. We need allies, especially the allies that are higher up that can convince the studios that miniatures are money well spent. And so when that comes in the form of somebody like the director or the VFX supervisor, you really feel like you're a valued part of the team and the vision. And so we got that certainly with Fede Alvarez on Alien Romulus. He fought tooth and nail to make sure that these miniatures got into the film, and it was so rewarding for us and our whole team because he was so appreciative of what we were doing. In fact, I remember we had what we call a show and tell when the models were pretty close to being done, and we wanted to get his eyes on them and get any notes he had that we could apply before they were due to be delivered. And so we set them up in our studio space, and we cleaned up because we knew he was visiting, and we played some sci-fi movie score that we had heard he liked, to set the mood, and we're all ready. We dim the lights. He comes in and he doesn't look at the models at all. He goes straight to our team and he shakes every single person's hand and thanks them for their work before he even turns to look at the models and give us feedback. And that was just such a great indicator of the type of creative leader he is.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this is a family business. I was wondering if you could tell me about, your early experiences on film and maybe how it led to here.
Sure. So my father is named Alec Gillis, and he is pretty, I'll just say it, legendary creature effects, special effects artist. And his first film after he left Stan Winston Studios was Tremors, and I was a little baby on set when they were filming Tremors. So I have, I've been able to take a front seat view of his career as it's grown and evolved. And I have lots of fond memories of going to on location and spending months away in cool cities like London and Vancouver, and feeling that excitement and energy to be, on the very periphery of a project, but it was always so exciting. And as long as he's been in the industry, he's always maintained that excitement and passion for the craft and filmmaking. And so that's, of course, it's contagious and genetic and all of it. So there was lots of exposure to all different types of movies from all different eras. And then, of course, Halloween was the biggest day of the year, and we were the most desirable house on the block because he would bring home dead bodies and put demons up in the trees. And we did, I think, get some neighbor complaints, but it was worth it because Halloween's supposed to be scary, people.
That's fantastic. Is it Pro Machina?
Mm-hmm.
Pro Machina, yeah, Pro Machina. When was that formed, and what did that look like in the earlier years?
Yeah, I feel like we're still kind of in the earlier years. We formed it as we
Alien
were.
Romulus is pretty.
It is big. I mean, we're
Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't. Let's see. I couldn't have done either of. We wouldn't have done those without Ian Hunter. Ian Hunter is definitely the maestro, and his reputation is unparalleled. So the fact that we could kind of hitch our wagon to his star has helped us a lot. But we love working with him and his process. Well, I worked with him years and years ago as when he had his own company called New Deal Studios, and he hired me to run builds and shoots for them. And so that's how I got familiar with the process. And we worked great together. And then COVID happened, and I was making Wallwood, and then a couple years later, and so in 2022, I was approached to do a private art installation of a miniature Main Street Disneyland in someone's backyard in California.
That sounds like a very rich person thing.
Mm-hmm. And so I called Ian. He was sort of a free agent at that point, and but I knew that if we were going to do something like this and do it right, we wanted him on board. So he came on board as creative director, and then we've just been working together ever since. We're a good team. And I really love working with him on our other projects as well, because he has he's brilliant and he knows the most about miniatures of anyone you'll meet, but he also is a filmmaker and has a great attitude about visual effects, and so he's a good resource for just even broader VFX topics, and so he's gone above and beyond to help us on our other projects also.
And as CEO, what does your sort of workload consist of? Is it and if you kind of mentioned being split, but is it selling? Is it finding jobs? Is it, you know, on the set making sure everything is okay? Is it everything? Is it tactile?
Yes, all of it. As the sort of executive producer on these films
yeah.
these films we're making, it's wearing like every single hat that anyone could throw at me. It feels I Reed, our other partner, Reed writes, Alec directs, so, and then I do, you know, I'm not doing wardrobe or sound design or anything, but I'm gearing up, and I'm maintaining the pace, and then I'm seeing us through post and sales. And so it's lots of hands in different pots. But then on the miniature side...
And you're in them.
Yeah, and I'm in them.
You're in them.
That's the whole reason I do any of it, so that I can put myself in it. That's why I go through the headache of doing the taxes for them, because... on the miniature side, it's like working a lot with, it's finding jobs and working with the studios and hammering out contracts, and then coming up with budgets. It's like budget after budget after budget. And there are shoot budgets, and there are build budgets, and there are timelines, and building the team, and then coming up with the workflow. And we have to we have to have a conversation pretty early on, and Ian is hugely instrumental in this, but Reed and Ian and I have a sort of a conversation to establish what the methodology is going to be, because it's different no matter, even spaceship to spaceship. It's always will vary depending on the needs and the look of the ship. And so we have that methodology, and then from there I am building out a schedule and building the team, and then I'm making sure everything's running smoothly, so that Ian, as the kind of creative genius, can execute the process, and I'm supporting that. So I don't usually put my own hands on the model unless we're like, it's really crunch time. Then we're desperate, and it's all hands on deck.
And I love this, that there's so much creativity and like project work and things coming in terms of scheduling, in terms of like your role, and, you know, like balancing it, like finding the work, then doing the work, then developing the projects, and then being in the projects, and then seeing them through, and then like even the distribution element. Like it's one of those things, if you've never done the film, you go, oh, when I'm finished the film, you're like, oh no, now you have to market the film.
Yeah,
get the film
it's
out,
really
sell
not.
The film.
It's not sustainable. I should not be. I need to find other ways to do it, because this is like a recipe for disaster. Yeah, it's just that we have sort of positioned ourselves to do it ourselves, in that like we have this really great set of artists and craftspeople, and we are all as a unit really capable of making really cool things for other people's movies or for our own. So we like being a little bit isolated from the machine of Hollywood, because it gives us creative control.
Yeah.
When it comes to our own projects, obviously. And so it would be great to find a way to, focus on a few things that I can be really good at, you know?
And is it a case of, you know, like kind of being on those big productions? Is that a good way as well for, you know, your own projects that you're developing and getting out into the world? Like, does that help get access to the bigger spheres and contact to the bigger spheres? And
well, I think what we're seeing right now is it lends us a lot of credibility. Yeah. For if we're fundraising on our own, we can point to our credits, and we can say, and Ian is involved, and Alec is involved, and our company has worked on these big movies, and that helps people feel comfortable putting their investing in us, you know.
And I suppose since the distribution models and things have changed, independent films and films being picked up later just has been the go-to model. In fact, all of the kind of breakthrough ones, even when they are picked up for like that mainstream distribution, like they were sold at festivals in that way and not developed in-house. Is it a case of that you guys are working on those projects that it's like, if money was unlimited, would it only be that? Or is it nice to do the two things separately?
It's great to do the two things because that gives us the opportunity to work on these really like monumental franchises like Alien, or these like be within the Marvel universe. That's for us as movie fans and our crew, like that's such dreams come true for people to work on these IPs that they're fans of and that they've seen evolve through the different versions of the movies. And so I think, and then it's like you said before, it's the opportunity to work with just people who are at the top of their game. And that's always going to help sharpen our tools and craft,
And your dad's writing, is it?
He directs.
He directs. Okay,
yeah,
I had him because I was like,
He has written. He's just
written.
not as interested in it nowadays.
Yeah.
And he's such a good director.
Yeah.
He's such a great leader, and he's spent so long leading teams, and he just does it with such diplomacy and positivity and never losing sight of the joy of doing what we do, because it's really fun, and it should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun to make and fun to watch. And I mean, even, like fun is a loose term, but it should be a thrill one way or another.
Again, such an intense workload. Like, and a feature film is an intense workload. And I presume doing all that model and construction on something that generally has quite a tight deadline, in terms of, again, sort of, I would say, like, balancing that, but then you being creative, and then your dad because it is a real presence that you have to bring. Do you find that difficult, or what do you do to get into that headspace and shake all the logistical stuff off?
Yeah, we haven't had yet too much overlap between being like in production on one of our own projects and in the middle of a build for a studio film. That hasn't happened. We've only been in post before and then doing a build, and that's easy enough to manage. Like, it's, again, because we are so small and light on our feet with our films, our post-production is, it's 1 or 2 editors, and it's maybe 6 VFX artists who are doing 30 shots each. So it's pretty, it's like a delicate footprint. And we wouldn't let, unfortunately for that project, like the studio one with the big deadline and the big budget is going to take priority, but we haven't had to negotiate balancing both at the same time. But I hope we have to figure out how to do that. That would be a great problem to have.
Of course. And in terms of the projects, those kind of personal projects that you guys are working on yourselves, is that something you're always developing? And, you've all the kind of plate spinning, and whatever one raises finances, that's the one that's across the line?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so we have one that we're really optimistic we can shoot later this year that would feature a lot of creatures. It takes place in another galaxy, so but all in a contained location. So it's just lots of opportunity for creature design and special makeups. And then it's a little bit more, it's a little light and not too heavy tonally heavy, or visually. It'll all be, anyway. And then we have another one. We have a bunch. We have a bunch of projects, but it's right. It's like what seems right for us, based on opportunities. And one, actually, we're hoping to shoot in Ireland. Woohoo! And having some great talks with some producers here and some stages, and so hoping that turns into something that would be a dream come true.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. We've great crews. Like, our crews are so lovely.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. That'd be fabulous. Yeah,
yeah.
We love our creatures and our sci-fi. And picking the projects that maybe come next, are you always on the lookout for like a story or something to adapt, or a creative collaboration, or is it something that, you know, takes a long time to build that trust and that understanding to get it across the line like that?
I think in terms of story content, a lot of it is led by me and Reed and Alec, and us working as a unit to kind of develop ideas, and then Reed usually executes them. We are open to other collaborators in terms of story ideas. We haven't, you know, I guess we've made ourselves a little insular, but certainly when it comes to the visuals and the art and the production design and creature and miniatures, like we're always so excited to see what other people can bring to the table. And a fun opportunity that would present itself when we make our next film is being able to take our crews that we've been working with for years and years at this point and giving them new exciting roles that they haven't gotten to dig their teeth into yet, like production design and getting to see what they do with that, because we just have so many talented people in our bubble.
You spend so much time, like in some instances for other films, building a world. In this one, it's like building the imaginative world, then building the world, then executing it. Like, is there that beat in, you know, like when it's about to hit the audience, when they're sitting there, like when are the moments that feel the most successful to you, and what are the moments that you've sort of been the most proud of there over that process?
I have to say that there was a buzz in the air when Alien Romulus was about to come out, and maybe it was their campaign in LA. It felt like everywhere you were seeing signs and billboards and posters everywhere, but something about it felt different and special from the other Alien franchise pieces that had come out previously, or, you know, in recent years. And so, and then going to see it in the theater for the premiere and feeling that buzz right there while you're sitting there, and then seeing it on screen, and it's like everything you hoped it would be as an Alien fan and more. That was like, and then seeing our ships, especially the one, the Corbellin, it's called, feature so heavily and feel almost like a character in the movie. That was just such an exciting experience. And I have yet to experience anything that comes close to that in terms of releasing our own projects. But I think, and so when you are releasing your own things and you're making things on a smaller level and you don't know how they're going to land or what kind of reach they're going to have, I think it's important to give yourself the validation and the props and the positive feedback that you're not necessarily getting from masses of people, because you did do something pretty amazing. The movie crossed the finish line, and that's a feat. So I have a really good habit of reading reviews and only seeing the positive. And my husband or my dad will be like, "That was devastating. How could they say that about us?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? They said that they said that the sky was the perfect color blue," or whatever. So I cannot be deterred by a bad review.
No, but I also, like, people are always going to have reviews. And sometimes I do have this opinion where I was like, if people are annoyed enough to write negative shit about it, you've affected them. And there's probably something in it that, like, irked them for the reason that there's an intent. Like
that's true.
Yeah, sometimes people are miserable, but, you know, that I also, like, but if there was apathy and people didn't care, like, I think our response is actually better than no response.
They felt something.
Yeah.
Which is good. It didn't fall flat. It just didn't have the reaction you wanted, maybe. It created a reaction, which is better than no reaction.
But it irked them. But you know, like, there's something in it that is strong. Do you know, like it doesn't... Yes. And people's opinion are so subjective as well. And, you know, like, people that kind of liked it, probably like, "Oh, that was good," but they mightn't take to their keyboards in that same way.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? Every review, whether it's positive or negative, is actually a compliment.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
Because you don't have to write it. Like, it takes time, especially if it's like not paid one. You
Yeah,
know, like,
right.
especially if they've done that.
Yes, true.
And in terms of like that process and being hands-on from beginning to end, do you feel like you're gaining more experience with each one?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what would you kind of take away then?
I was, so in terms of having to sort of pat yourself on the back if no one else is going to, I was so proud on Wellwood, or Alien Lifeblood as it's called in the UK, to have shepherded sort of the visual effects process. Yeah. I didn't anticipate having to do that. I thought that we had somebody else who was taking on that responsibility, but that didn't work out. And so we were left with no choice but to, but for me to supervise all of that post-production visual effects. And I didn't know much about it at all. And it was really, really challenging while I was in it. But now looking back, it's what I am most proud of, because for myself, that I was able to pull that off. I mean, you know, there were actually real artists who did the actual work, but it's a lot of logistics and coordinating and having an eye to help give feedback on the shots, and then bringing that team together. And when you have like next to no money, that's it's another challenge to get good work out of people that you're not paying what they deserve. They deserve more than what you can pay them, and so you have to do your best to try to make them feel valued, and which they were, and hopefully they felt that. And I'm thrilled with how the visual effects turned out in the film. So, and that was the challenge on that one.
And is it almost the hardest thing in the world to be in a post process on a thing that you're in?
No, I love it.
Dude,
I love watching myself. I love how I love listening to myself, how I sound. I have no problem with it.
Yeah. I can't listen to these back. If I had to edit these, this would not exist.
Totally a narcissist. I'm as vain as they come, so it does not bother me at all. That's why I'm perfect for this job.
It's like, but yeah, it's tough. But it's tough. But again, what it is having different creative hats and having so many in a project. It just like, is it like, or how do you differentiate between them or give them that space?
I just try to bulldoze my way through, because if I don't, nothing will get done. If I wait to be really, really good at something before I try to do it, I wouldn't be able to make any progress. Like I have, I work with these two talented people, Alec Gillis and Reed Collins, and their skill sets don't extend to the minutia and the logistics and that's not their strength, but it can be my strength. I can just keep saying yes until I get to the finish line. And so I just have to figure out a way to solve problems, and I just do it because there's no other choice. There's too many people that are relying on us. And does that answer your question?
Totally. Okay. and then finally, blank check tomorrow, which project would you commission? Like it lands on your desk and you're like, okay, no, that's the one that we're gonna run with.
I think it's the one I was talking about. It's called Pancakes at the Never Day Cafe. And it is the one that Alec will direct, and it's got lots of creatures. And I would maybe up the budget a little from what we've been talking about, but we'll do it with what we've been talking about. But I think that one calls for the opportunity for us all to be working together as like a big happy family, with both our actual literal family and our creative family. So I'm really eager to get that one going. And then second after that, of course, is the one that would shoot in Ireland.
Yes. That's great. Section 481. It's fabulous. It's well worth it.
Yes, I've heard.
But thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the tiny bit left in the festival. And yeah, good luck. We look forward to having you hopefully soon.
Thank you so much. I can't wait.
A big thank you to the Spinners Mill Studio and RENDR Festival for hosting us, and to our podcast sponsors, the National Talent Academy for VFX. So to learn more about the work that they do, visit nationaltalentacademies.ie/VFX.